It is Marvel Day here on Pals Pulls, a rare day where we are Marvel heavy on the podcast, which makes my Marvel fanboy heart happy. And not to mention, we are Pals heavy because we have a full cast today. We've got Cale,
Ooh, what's up? I'm so full of hot dogs.
Marco,
My marvelous Marco.
Tyler,
Hey guys.
and I'm Sean. Thank
All
you
right.
guys for being here, whether you are live or in the future. We've got
Count them.
five of this week's biggest releases. We have Ultimate Spider-Man #9. Man, one of the most misleading covers of all time.
Just like the title of this
For
episode.
real.
Uncanny X-Men #3. Wolverine Revenge #2. Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween #1 of 10. And Creepshow #1.
Yeah, Sean, no second printing of that Long Halloween Zero?
Oh, we're not in the stack.
Oh, my
We haven't
bad, my
gotten
bad.
there.
Sorry, my
Sure,
fault, my fault.
sure.
Hey, I'm thinking ahead. That's all it was.
Why are you trying to spoil the fun, Marco? What's up with that, man?
Hey, I notice a trend sometimes. That's it. I don't know.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. And listen, let me tell you, I
Oh.
was looking for it last Wednesday. I was looking for it. That
I
was
know
one of the
you
books
were.
that I was like, wait, what happened here? They sold out before I even got in the fucking store. How did that happen? But no, it was Batman Day, and without spoilers, my store had plenty today or yesterday. They had plenty yesterday. So,
Was the zero issue? Did it have a cost to it?
oh yeah, it did.
Yeah, boy.
It
Wasn't
definitely
that a
did.
free book they gave out at one point? Am I wrong about that?
I don't think so.
no.
I don't think it was free.
It came out a few years ago at this point, and it was a full ass cost book.
Yeah, it was a precursor, but I don't think we knew. I don't remember if we knew at the time that it was leading into this.
I don't think
But
so.
yeah, I think it was just like a zero issue.
I'm not sure they knew it was leading into this actually. But we'll get
Yeah, I don't know the whole story. Thank you guys for joining us, whether you are here with us live or in the future. As we said, we've got a full docket of books to get into today, so let's waste no time. Let's start talking about Ultimate Spider-Man #9. This is written by Jonathan Hickman. I know that because I paid the Hickman tax. It's got art by Marco Cicchetto with colors by Matthew Wilson, letters by Corey Pettit. The cover features Spider-Man himself, and the Sinister Six. You will not open this book and see the Sinister Six.
You don't even see like one of. Well, I guess you see one of them
Yeah.
briefly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whipman is part of the Sinister Six.
Whipman. Yeah.
Yeah, not the cool ones.
Whipman versus the Whipman.
I mean, my question actually, as I thumbed through it, was: were there even 6 characters in this comic book? Fuck a Sinister Six. Were there 6 people?
Mhm,
And there were.
mhm.
Barely.
There were. I think there
And
might have been
exactly-
exactly 6.
And
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you have both plot lines at 3 people in each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
wait. There were 7. Octavius.
No, that's 6.
So you had
And-
Mary Jane, Ben,
Yeah.
and JJJ,
Right.
Harry, Peter, Ock, and then my man with the whip.
Right.
Uh,
right.
okay.
So
yeah.
technically, that's
Whitman.
yeah. Dang,
Wow.
damn it! I would have preferred it if it was just 6.
I know that would have been a great bit, but here we are.
Right. Yes. Well, so we get a sequence with Mary Jane. Man, first of all, Marco Cicchetto. Boy, oh boy.
Glad to see it.
Yeah.
He draws Mary Jane with that like Latina color red hair, you know? Like it's not ginger. It's like a deep red.
It's Toxica.
Dude, this is why he needs to be on here every month. This is
I
why.
wish.
Have you checked the ad for number 10 yet?
I hadn't. Oh,
Take the wind out of his sails already.
'Cause he ain't.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think it's back to Messina,
Oh,
according
you're
to
right.
what's at the back of the book. Yeah.
You're right.
Mm.
Yeah. And with a tease like that, going with that cover, you would think you would want the main artist on a sequence of that nature, but okay. Yeah, Mary Jane just looking hotter than heat. This one isn't a model, right? This version of MJ is not a model. She's I forget what her occupation is.
She's a former model.
Right. Okay. Former model.
Same.
Right.
Yeah.
Normally, when you hear from a former model, it's like former model. Like
Right.
this, she ain't that far off from her modeling years. This is a mother of two, and she's running around looking as good as she can look. That's a beautiful thing. Goodness bless her. And so we get a sequence with
has.
her and Uncle Ben and Jameson, more plotting and planning, on their part. And then another sequence with Peter and Harry, the Goblin. And I really like where this whole Peter talking to Peter thing is
Yes.
going.
Like they're telegraphing it a bit, but I still enjoy it because it is like a weird take on the symbiote.
But
Yeah.
I think they're also they're very obviously telegraphing the other half, which is Harry and Norman as well,
Oh yes.
which I also appreciate.
Yeah. And like in the suit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I guess even in 616, you could say like the worst part of Harry is his father, like his father's influence or whatever. And then for Peter, the worst part of Peter is Peter.
And listen, we can all agree with that.
It's reasonable.
Sometimes it's yourself.
Right.
I very much enjoyed the beginning bit with the paper and how it's growing and developing, and the concern of I like the little drops of sensational and amazing, all that kind of stuff. It's cute, good nods, and I think uh the fact that they're all strung up about like, well, we're just doing kind of like fluff pieces. It's like, hey, but you're getting hits, man. Like I don't like, what do you want? We want journalism. It's a good direction for that, and I like that it's gonna now play into the Stain and the Stark stuff. That's gonna be interesting because that's gonna at some point come back down onto Peter.
And as you bring that up, I really enjoy Uncle Ben as a character.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Ben has never really been a character. Like in a Spider-Man proper book, he's more of a cautionary tale or a personification of Peter's guilt or the best parts of Peter personified. But him actually having motives and wants and needs and kind of being the cooler head to Jonah's hot head, I think there's a real good dynamic there that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm having a lot of fun with this book. I mean, we've lobbed the same critiques at it for, I would say, the last 6-ish issues. And for me, they're still there. But what's also there is really good dialogue. Hickman is building a house of cards. And we know Peter. We know Peter's life. We know how it tends to go. We know that this whole house of cards is going to fall down. And I guess I've gotten too caught up in like wanting to see that process begin. And maybe my mentality about this book is slightly off. Granted, again, this cover is completely misleading. And, I think the month timeline just isn't doing this book any favors, but damn it if it isn't good. It's good.
I felt the month timeline thing again here, where like
Yeah.
Peter's talking about his interaction with Tony Stark and how Tony Stark can track him and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, it would have been great to see that.
Yeah.
It's just, it feels like this book doesn't want to have to deal with that, but has to.
But it's doing it to itself. Like you didn't even really have to mention that, and yeah, he brings it up. Like I don't think that was materially if did anything to the story, but he just throws that in there, and then that to your point, that builds a, oh, that would have been interesting to see, because how does that, does he, is he more protective? Was he initially sneaking around, but now he doesn't have to? So you could have played with that more, but that's only because Hickman decided, oh, I want to mention that, and a lot of stuff just kind of gets mentioned.
Yeah. And there is a bit of a fear on my part of Hickman playing the hits really early. You know, all the storylines that Echo 616 played out in the comics over years and years and years.
Decades.
De- Decades, absolutely. And, here in the Ultimate Universe, we've already crossed, not crossed, but like we're building towards a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I just don't want the book to be bogged down by that later or play so many of the hits that it then runs out of steam. Like, do you guys think that Hickman is doing he's like, I'm going to do everything I've ever wanted to do with Spider-Man if I could do it before I personally get out? Is it one of those things?
It feels a little bit like, hey, we don't really know how long we have here, so let's just do what we can. Like it's Symbiote, Green Goblin, Sinister Six,
The Iron Spider now.
the Iron Spider, Doc Ock.
Yeah.
You know,
A big question mark around Aunt May.
yeah. There's a lot of plates that are being balanced right now.
Yeah. Fresh news in the chat says the suit now being 100% Venom kind of tells me that Hickman is here for a good time, not a long time. I sort of feel that.
That's kind of how I feel. That's what Hickman does now, which, like, good for him. But yeah,
like good for him, but now it's long form sequentialized stories, and I want that creative team. Like, we're already getting it on the art side of just swaps, and Chicheto's not consistently on there, and at the very least I would hope that Hickman would provide the consistency. If the expectation is this is going to go another 10 issues, it's a little disappointing. 20 issues, yeah, all right, you had a good run, but I mean, I feel like that's so typical now, and for this being a ultimate book, and for this being Hickman, like I would imagine you would want to really leverage him and give him ownership.
I think they will give him whatever he wants, basically. You know, and I think they will let the architecture of this new Ultimate Universe play out, and they'll let Hickman react or not react however he wants, basically. And I'm kind of at a place where it's like, the book may be an ongoing, and he may have plans for a long time. How long is he actually going to stay?
See, that's kind of where I come in. Is Marco said if it were to get to like 20 issues or more, then that's like that's a solid run. Like, you came in and did the thing, but all the stuff that's being introduced in this series so far and the pace of this book, I don't think that would be satisfying at all. Because how can you resolve all these different plot threads over the course of even another 10 issues? I don't think that that's enough at all. Nothing has happened in the first 10 issues,
I don't even think you can resolve the Sinister Six in a satisfying way in 10 issues.
especially with non-typical comic structured stories where we're used to 6-issue arcs. That's not just like a mistake. Like, that's a structure that was chosen to fit trades, and it's an arc. It's a satisfying reading structure. So we're not getting that. And it's all building, which is great, but like, how do you come down from here? You can't come down from here in just 10 issues. So I would love to personally hear, like, hey, Hickman is going to be on this book for as long as he feels like being on it. I would love to hear that. But maybe that's because I'm so worried because it's Hickman. I have this fear now with Hickman.
We've been burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, as good as his stuff is, he's got a reputation for it, even in the indies.
See it through.
Manhattan Project finished great. Wait, did it?
Yeah, you're thinking
Oh,
of
you mean
Black
East of
Monday
West?
Murders.
Oh, I think did East West finish? See,
East
I
of
don't
West
even
actually
know.
finished, I think.
That one finished.
Did it?
okay,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I tried. Black Monday Murders?
No, it did not finish.
Nah, yeah, no.
I mean, the guy is
Uh,
the king edger of writing comics, I guess. Never finishes.
Flo Dameron says, "Leave that negativity at the door. This book's gonna go on forever, and Hickman will be writing until 2050." Hoobai! That'd be fun as fuck, actually.
No, I don't want to read the
Hound
same
said it.
book until 2050.
Hound says, "Hey, barkeep, I'll have some of what Flo Dameron's having." I will too, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really strong comic for sure. I really everything that's been good about it has stayed good. I guess I wish maybe there was a little bit more family stuff. If we're gonna move slow, then let's see a little bit more family stuff.
Have we not seen the kids in like 3 issues?
The last issue that I can recall seeing the kids in was the birthday party.
That was like 3 issues ago.
Yeah, so probably
Out of-
probably around that.
Out of 9 issues, a third of it doesn't have one of the biggest selling points of the book.
But the thing is, you can't linger on that. This happens month upon month and upon
Again,
month.
there's the issue with it.
Yeah.
That and like who was it here? I'm trying to forget where it is. But somebody mentioned, okay, here we go. It was Samuel Summers. I wish the Ultimate Spider-Man book took place over weeks so the story feels full. As it stands now, it feels like everything takes place over a day, then we wait until next month. And like that's another issue too. It's like the actual issues we get, the chunks of story we actually do get, feels small compared to it jumping another month.
I feel like it's crawling.
Wall crawling.
You can't do every issue over the course of weeks. That's a breakneck pace. This story is structured where we really get 2 to 3 different scenes per issue, and they don't all involve Peter. They involve different people. So if all of that 20-ish pages took place over weeks, the story would just have, and then each individual issue was a month apart. It would feel wonky. I just think the book is hampered by the fact that each issue must take place a month after the last. It's a problem that you can't get around. Only Ultimates has firmly succeeded in getting around that, and that's because it has a plot, but the narrative is not that tight. Like this is a soap opera, Ultimate Spider-Man, and soap operas rely on being able to say, "Oh my God, Betty shot Veronica. Tune in next week to see what happened after," and or not next week, tomorrow to see what happened after, and then tomorrow when you tune in, the first thing you're gonna see is the immediate aftermath, and this isn't playing out like that, and it's very weird. Let me take this quick opportunity to say hello to Roboters 100, fresh news 24/7. Tuning in, thanks. Good to see you, Atomic Hound Silhouette. What's up, man? Marowak Oscuro, always here for us. Thank you. Mike's Total Dragon Channel, good to see you. Rami Darwish, my man. Flo Dameron, what's up? Check out Flo's YouTube channel. What's the Bada Boom podcast. Yes. James Jones, what's up, bro? Hope to see you contend in the stack a little bit later on. Hope everybody's
Perennial
doing
winner.
well. Those are just the names I can see right now. I mean, look, it's a great comic still. I'm never going to drop it. I have some qualms, but overall, to me, I still think this is probably in my top 10 right now of books currently being published.
I could drop this easy.
Oh. And trade weight it or never see what happens?
I might come back to it if I hear something cool comes out of it, but it's just well, like I say, it's just moving at a glacial pace. Like, we have a page here of Peter talking to himself, and he's not doing anything. I'm not saying that's not good, like, dialogue work, but there's nothing happening. And then, like, in what seems to be a pretty important piece of costume lore here, I feel like I missed something. So I feel like some details aren't clear for me either.
What do you mean?
What do you?
So at the end of the scene with Octavius, right? He tries to give him the Iron Spider. Peter says, "Nah, no thanks. Whatever else you got, I'll take." And I guess he's given a spandex suit that looks exactly like the suit he's got on. Am I reading that right?
Yeah,
So Octavius kept the other suit,
sure.
we think.
The one with the tentacle
Well-
arms. That is definitely not foreshadowing. Yeah, he kept that one.
Well, I thought that I thought nothing happened. I thought he didn't take the suit. He's just like, I'll figure out. There's going to be a simpler solution. Fine, you finish building it. I'll take that one.
The simpler solution was a spandex suit because the suit Spider-Man had wasn't a suit. It was like nano machinery
Right.
that went over him.
Yeah. Yeah. And it had the AI or whatever
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, I see.
he doesn't want Stark to be able to track him,
Right.
so he wants to use a regular suit. But the suit is telling him, "Hey, that sucks. I'm offended by that. Don't do that. But
Right,
if you're
yeah.
gonna do it, I'll stay at home at least. Don't give me over to this guy."
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess altogether, my point here is it feels like there are just little things that are happening, and it's too little and it's moving too slow.
And I think I'm with you, Cale, too. Because, like, do I think this is a good book? On the whole, yeah.
Sure.
And do I enjoy reading it? Yeah. But I could drop it again, like you, at any moment. Like, it's not... I'm not even excited when I see the book on the list, if I'm being completely honest. It's usually pretty decent, but I'm just so tired with the pacing of it. It feels like the pacing of a Spider-Man PlayStation game, you know, except a game that I can only play for 2 hours every month, and that it's just not doing it for me. If there's buzz about it, when an arc is done, or a trade comes out and I can binge a whole chunk of it, sure. But yeah, it's not drawing me to, like, it's never the one I want to get to first when it comes out that week.
This was the first one that I read this week. And I'm
Purposely, or
yeah. I do enjoy it, and I've been enjoying it more so than something like ASM. But I think it's the enjoyment of, well, I know I'm gonna get a good story. I know I'm gonna get good art when Chicharro's on there. Like, there's a scale there, and at the very least, I'm gonna have fun with it, and I'll see where the next issue goes. I guess I'm happy enough to read it and looking forward to reading it. But the like I gotta tackle this one, isn't there necessarily. But I don't think that's a bad thing.
You guys pulling or passing here?
I'm pulling.
I'm gonna pass.
Whoa!
I think I'm gonna pass.
Wow!
one more time, Cal.
I think I'm gonna pass.
There we go. I like that delivery.
Damn.
This is probably a pull for me. Like, as just an issue in itself, it's a pull, but not an enthusiastic one.
Well, I'm definitely gonna pull, and that means that this is a huge green flag from me. USM is a green flag. This is a great comic.
Thank God you didn't activate your green screen. That would not have worked as a bit.
I know. I'm still here for it. I know that Hickman got me. There was a question on the Discord earlier about who are the writers who you give, essentially, like who are the writers who you will always give the benefit of the doubt and who has lost that for you. And Hickman is 100% one of those writers. So,
100%.
like, I believe that at the end of this ride, I will be happy. And I shouldn't
Ooh.
believe that
Yeah.
based on Krakoa. But then it's on the other hand, it's like, well, shit, man. Fantastic Four ended amazing. Avengers ended amazing. Secret Warriors ended amazing. So I feel like, there is precedent the other way as well.
And then Gods happened.
Well, I just personally didn't like it. But
Sure.
I mean, you did.
I did, yeah.
He finished it.
Yeah.
Or he finished,
it completed.
It completed.
finished-
It did feel like it, sped past the finish line at the end there, but he did finish it. There was a clear end.
But he
You're
hit
right.
the finish line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, there are well over 50 of you here with us. We're bordering on 60. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you're
Smash it.
if you're having a good time with us, if you're enjoying your Thursday evening or morning or afternoon or whatever it is where you're at. Let us know by hitting that like button. Super chats are open. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you fuck with us. Kyle said, "Hey, I made it for a little." Kyle, good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Glad you could make it. Kyle
Nice.
also said, "I think the new Ultimate series will read much better collected than it does issue by issue." There is no doubt about that, and I am never the guy to feel that way. But with this gimmick here, I think it's hard to argue with that.
I don't know, because we have this month and month issue. And I don't totally know how that'll read collected, because I'm reading it month to month and it's like there's not enough connecting it for me.
I think we've commented on the pacing being slow because of how that feels and how that works. But I think in trade, it'll be quicker. It'll be a smoother read because, okay, cool, this thing happened this month. You turn the page, the start of the next issue. Okay, cool, this, happens this month. And it has that forward momentum where we physically have to wait the month and the thing that is happening is occurring in said month. I'm hopeful for that.
Yeah. To me, I just feel like because the book is so intent on only showing us a slice of a given month, by the time we get to the next issue, and then they're dealing with something very different than they were dealing with the last issue, it's like, what even happened? Like, what even happened in the prior issue? So in trade, at least you wouldn't have that problem, but we'll see. We will see. Flo Dameron is very upset with you guys, the way you've been talking about USM.
Listen,
And Flo Dameron basically has a stake in this podcast because he is one of our Patreon supporters. So you guys are fucking with our money right now. You are disappointing one of our staunchest supporters.
listen, Flo wants to bribe me. I'm open to it. Up that Patreon donation, and I'll say the nicest things in the world about Ultimate Spider-Man.
I can't be bribed.
I can't. I'm poor. Oh, I'm so poor. Please give me money.
I can't be bribed via this podcast. You can bribe me in other ways too. I mean, if you want me to be New York City mayor, I'll gladly, well, actually, no, there's a
No.
little more scrutiny on that one right now.
Atomic Hound says 15 minutes a month. What does that remind me of? Listen, Hound, I don't know what's happening in the kennel. I can't speak to that. Sounds like a conversation that you and Mrs. Hound should have.
BJ Comics Are Dope said, Sean, always guaranteeing I play this show through headphones and not speakers.
Hey, BJ, you know what it is, man. It's Thursday night. We got to have a good time. And by the way, guys, since he's here, Comics Are Dope is a true fact, but it's also a great YouTube channel. Recently celebrated, 13,000 subscribers. So you guys should add to that cause and subscribe over there. Triple Host says USM deserves a white flag as in surrendering. Nah.
Yeah. He said he was
There-
dropping it earlier.
That may happen. There may come a time. You don't know. You didn't know I had a green flag. There may come a time when I pull a white flag out, but it won't be for USM.
What other flags have symbolism? You got a yellow flag, right? That's one of them.
That's
Oh.
caution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Caution, speed through the light. That's what
Yeah.
that is.
All right, I'm just prepping myself for Sean's next bit.
You don't know.
I don't.
Anything can happen.
I'm guessing.
This Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, we are going to be delivering the final installment of the New 52 deep dive. I am very excited for that. We are going to be hearing from someone whose voice has been completely absent throughout the prior 3 installments, and that would be none other than architect Jeff Johns, who has some words about the New 52 and why he thinks it went left, why it went wrong, what it was missing. That and more this Saturday, so make sure you guys come hang out with us for that. Patreon.com/thecomics-pals if you want to support over there. Thank you to everybody who chooses to do that. We've had some new members this week, so I'm excited to shout them out. And then, of course, super chats are open. If you guys are enjoying what we're doing, YouTube memberships are open. All that is available as we get into our next book, The Uncanny X-Men. And on the cover of this issue of Uncanny X-Men is the elf, Nightcrawler, who there was much debate and dispute about whether or not he is in fact furry. This came up after our conversation about Wolverine #1, where I mean, I'll call myself out. You guys are fine. I'll call myself out as being unclear about Nightcrawler, his skin status, whether he's got fur or what. And frankly, guys, I screwed up. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I was wrong. It happens. But this issue, written by Gail Simone, with art by David Marquez, colors by Matthew Wilson again, and letters by Clayton Cowles. This issue's got more of that sweet, sweet X drama that Gail
Yeah.
Simone is doing such a good job of writing. There's a lot of movement as far as that is concerned, as we get some of the origins of these new kids, these new empowered mutants. And Nightcrawler puts them through their paces a little bit as we see their origins. And Wolverine leaves the squad. He leaves the team to go out on his own. So Wolverine he left the squad in X-Men #1 to go to the wilderness in Wolverine #1, where he meets up with Nightcrawler, and then they both end up in Uncanny X-Men, where now Wolverine has left the squad once again.
This dude's like Hickman.
Yeah. But a quicker timeline. He's a chump. My man didn't even last barely 1 issue before he jumped off ship in X-Men. It's unreal. What'd you guys think about this issue?
Pick of the week. This was
Oh.
a lot of fun. The X drama in particular, like just the opening sequence with Rogue and Wolverine there being able to. I felt stuff. It felt like there was weight to it, like there was a consideration, and that when she says, make sure you come home when you're done with what you got to do, you come home. I'm like, damn, that's right, bro. It's a family, and that's what you need. That's what this is. This is family drama. This is as much as they are mutants, that means that makes them a community, and so I really appreciated that aspect of it. I like the new characters and their origins. The horse girl, man, she's cool as fuck. Little ponytail, Rapidash style stuff.
She said the help, Marco.
Huh?
She said the help in that book. I don't know if she's cool.
Nah, she's rad, man. And I'm also imagining like a very plucky Southern accent in it. So it was just overall a fun book.
I am with you. Is it my pick of the week? No, but I did think that this was very good. Right now, Gail Simone is holding down the fort
Yeah.
as far as the X books go, because she understands that it's as much about the drama and the character interactions as it is about anything else. I I don't care about any of these new characters. They're whatever, they're fine. And I sort of don't even care about the overarching thing that's happening. But I certainly did love the rogue inner monologue early on the first page where she's in bed with Gambit, and I really enjoyed the conversation that she has with Wolverine. Gail Simone's dialogue is pitch perfect for these characters. I can hear the voice of the woman who I can't remember, Laura Zahn. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name.
I think you're right. I
Oh,
think you're right.
the woman who voices Rogue in the X-Men 97 and in the OG animated series.
Oh, yeah.
I hear her voice
Yep.
when I read this dialogue. And for me, that's always like, okay, you're nailing it. If I can hear the actor, then you're on point. And she's on point.
She does one of the. I mean, there's not much of them in this book, but she does something that's really hard to do and makes Gambit tolerable. Catherine's not here, right? Okay, I think we're
Oh,
safe.
slow down.
Um,
He's tolerable in this issue because he doesn't do anything.
he's sleeping. He's sleeping, and looking good.
That's right.
I'm with both of you too, Sean and Marco. Like, I feel like Gail Simone nails people talking to each other like people. I think of like Secret Six, which is one of my favorite runs of any comic. Like, she had Bane in a relationship with somebody, and it was human, you know. She made Ragdoll, which is like a contortionist freak character, have feelings, and she's doing that here with characters that I know and love. And I think that those quiet moments, especially the kitchen dining room scene with Rogue and Wolverine, and like, Wolverine is understated a bit. Like, I feel like some people write Wolverine and they gotta throw in all of his Wolverine-isms right on the page, and he's got to be saying bub constantly. Like, this Wolverine, you can tell he's conflicted about what he's doing, but he's got to do it, and he's a little quiet for it too. I thought this was really good, and I think this is my favorite of the From the Ashes books for sure.
Yeah, and I think for me a massive part of that, genuinely, is the fact that there is a villain. Read one villain that we're getting to know and is a threat and is a looming threat to what is happening in the book.
And the solution to some of the other books issues with having to use villains that like they aren't goody with from the Krakoa era is just make a new one. Like, oh no, how novel of an approach is that? New villain, sure, you can retcon some history with other characters with her, but like, I don't know, this Hag character is pretty neat, honestly.
Scary, dude.
Yeah. I don't care as much about that stuff. Like, all right, she's got some connection to Professor Xavier. She's creepy. All that's cool. It doesn't really have any, for me, there's no like immediacy or urgency to it. I don't think Wolverine's in danger. It's Wolverine, for God's sake. I'm not judging it. Like, I'm gonna let that part play out, but I wouldn't say that I'm like over the moon excited to see where that goes. This book feels like home as a longtime X fan. Like, and again, a lot of people say like, oh, you guys just want Krakoa back. And it's like, nah, that's really not what it is. It's just that this book feels like X-Men. Like, the X-Men are not super heroic for the most part. A lot of the like great Claremont stuff, for example, like one of my memories is just the X-Men walking. I forget which ones it is, but it's them walking through the New York City streets and it's snowing out and they're just having a conversation. And it's like this tremendous dialogue, and it's these conversations between humans who've got relationships that matter. Rogue and Wolverine have known each other. I mean, my God, in real lifetime, 40 plus years. In comics time, you know, X amount of years, but it's a long time. It should feel like that. For me, when I read X-Men, those characters could have met 5-10 minutes ago.
Even the bit where like Nightcrawler gets his ass kicked by the manga kid, and you know Rogue stops him and says, "Hey, get your hands off my brother." Like just a little thing like that is big, because that is, for Rogue to say that, that's a lot. And if
Yeah,
you're a longtime
that's-
X-Men reader, that's a big deal.
That's one that acts as exposition, but
Yep.
it also shows a ton of character for who she is now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then man, David Marquez, dude. Marquez was one of my favorite artists. Because Marquez did Civil War 2, which was excellent
favorite
from a
book.
visual standpoint. Sorry?
Your favorite book.
God no. But it was one of my favorite looking books that year.
Was good looking. Yeah.
And this isn't quite that same style. It's a different colorist. I don't believe Matthew Wilson was the colorist for Civil War 2, but it has like kind of man, I don't know how to describe it exactly. There's like a warmth, I guess, to this that feels appropriate here as well. Like I really like the warmer tones that we get in this book. It's not as like just comparing the colors of that book where it's really like poppy to this where it's more subdued but warm at the same time. I like what's going on with the colors, and David Marquez is just a crisp ass artist, man. Like this just looks so good.
The colors always feel like it's either in a sunset or a sunrise in
Yeah.
the palette at times. I mean, quite literally during the dining scene, I think it was sunrise at that time. Yeah, I agree with you. It's Matthew Wilson's one of my favorite colorists. Pair him with, you know, Marquez, who prior to this haven't seen in a while. This stuff is phenomenal. Probably one of my favorite rogues I've ever seen on paper or on iPad.
I was popping for the Bamfs. They look good.
Oh,
Yeah,
and Nightcrawler
yeah.
looked good too.
Yeah.
Even though he said he was a furry, not furry in the way that tactilely, but he was pro furry in this. So
He said, "I like the furry community."
That's
Nothing
right.
So
wrong.
they have good
with being
parties.
pro furry.
I agree. No, I actually met a couple furries once at an ice cream shop. They're really nice. Not sure how they ate the ice cream though.
Sean, you said earlier you didn't much care for these new characters. How did you feel about the way that the origins were communicated to us?
I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was effective. Like, you know, they didn't just tell us, they showed us, but
Yeah.
then they also juxtaposed that with, you know, Nightcrawler being like, "Oh, see if you can get this from me."
Yeah.
You know, and like that was totally irrelevant. You know, they're in the fake danger room. It was just a way to keep the action moving while we see their origins, and I thought that was really clever on Gale's part. I take a little longer to warm up to new characters. That's just my nature. It's nothing against who they are or what Gale is doing. I need to see characters do things before I start to care about them. That's just who I am.
I also think these origins were short and concise
Yeah.
because, like, the reality is, you know, these characters, there's a good chance they're not going to last like that long for the sake of like history, right? You know, it's not likely one of them's going to become the new Wolverine. So we can, you know, get a short glimpse at their origin and then watch the manga kid beat the crap out of Nightcrawler.
Sure. Yeah.
That's actually for me, that's a downside. Like, there are so many unutilized mutants, like mutants that don't ever get any
I'm
play.
with you. Yeah.
And it's like, damn, they just keep creating new mutants. Every writer wants to create new mutants, but then they don't ever want to play with the mutants that the writer before them created. So it's like there's this landfill of new mutants that just get abandoned. But I guess if you not, I don't know what Gail's thinking about, but like she might not think like, oh, okay, these characters are going to be used in perpetuity forever. Maybe she's just thinking about them in the context of her run, in which case, tell your story. And if they're great, then maybe they can become the next Wolverine or Rogue, you know, where someone does play with them after the fact.
Yep.
I actually like the fact that we don't get previous mutants. I like that you have such a diversity. I want to see that. I want to see what you can bring to the table. I want to see what you can do with the power sets. I want to see what you can do with who they are and their life experiences as mutants. Like I think that is only ever additive to the mutant world. And I don't care if I don't see Beak here.
Neither do I. I don't think anybody does.
Yo, I want him on a team, bro.
What? Okay, okay, Marco, you just contradicted yourself.
I want not
Nobody
here,
wants
but,
Beak
like,
on a team.
but I want
2
Beak on a
seconds
team.
later.
Yeah.
It's only if
You
only
know
Marvel
what?
had a book that was specifically made for New Mutants.
You want a bold move? Put Beak on Emma Frost's team.
Yo.
I don't think she'd be into that, honestly.
I like this mechanism and this vehicle for New Mutants. I think this makes sense. I think this is the place for it. And having them be trained by veterans, that's cool. I love that idea. I've always been a fan of that. And so having this play out, that realistic was what made this, the book of the week for me. This just the way that this was presented to us and the drama and storytelling. Yo, shout out to Nier, bro. I stand for Beak.
Marco, you don't stand for Beak. You just said you don't care about seeing Beak in this comic.
Nier said that. I'm reading.
I know, but then you. Okay, all right, fine.
He's not endorsing it.
That sounded like we don't even read comments during this segment, and Marco's pulling that. That sounded like an endorsement to me. I don't know.
I like Beak. Maybe he should be on Nyx.
If you said that sentence in any other context, in any other part of your life, it would make no sense.
Yeah, that sounded like gibberish, actually.
Or it would make too much sense.
Pull. I'm giving this a green flag for sure. This was very good.
Honestly, I'm a simple man. I would pull just for that cover. Like, that's a damn good Nightcrawler cover.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing the interior is also good. Yeah, it's a pull for me.
I think this was my pick of the week.
Let's
I really
go.
enjoyed this too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Julia Raul says, "Hey pals, are y'all covering Ultimate X-Men?" Boy, oh boy, Julia, listen. We put our time in. We did six issues of hard time with Ultimate X-Men, and we realized that we don't really have anything new to say, and it was kind of a bummer to talk about, so we dropped it. I don't know if I personally, it's not in my stack anymore. I raised the white flag to that. Is anybody still reading it?
I haven't downloaded. I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's on the list.
Yeah, I'm caught up. The last issue was good. I liked it. Should have kept on it.
Before we get to the new book, because people are saying, mentioning Beak and Darwin and Hugo Girl, just quick fire. What's like a lesser known mutant that you miss?
Surge.
Okay, well, I was going to say can't be Surge, Sean, but sure, it's Surge.
I don't think I know any lesser known mutants.
I miss... go.
The Atom.
The Atom? Sure. I'm not going to question. That could be a mutant. I don't know. I miss Kid Gladiator. It's a fun character.
I miss Prodigy, bro.
Yeah, well, isn't he in Nyx? Isn't he?
Then I'm thinking of
professor?
the wrong.
Darwin?
Darwin.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The one that was locked with with X-23.
Yeah.
No,
that's
that's
right.
Sync.
Sync. Oh my God,
Sync,
Jesus
Sync.
Christ! I'm so
Yes.
sorry. All the black guys look alike. Sync. Sync.
Sean said that, not Cale.
I own it. Yeah, Sync. I miss Sync.
To be fair, I got it wrong too. So
I stand for Sync.
I
you
mean-
know what? I might also stand for Sync.
Where's Captain Krakoa at?
What?
He's in Exceptional X-Men, first of all.
No. Marco, gun to your head.
Yeah.
Who is Captain Krakoa?
Cyclops.
Arr.
I don't know.
Captain Krakoa is Hydra Steve Rogers.
Right.
That's the
That's
mutant you
right.
miss?
I remember.
The Nazi one?
Did he
What?
like get the Von Strucker twins back together too?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Technically, he's Hellion right now, but
You know what little known mutant I miss? Magneto.
Well,
did-
I miss the Magneto that did things. Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't like Metron?
Oh no, I love Metron. And frankly, I would love Magneto to do more stuff in the chair. I would just love more Magneto.
I'd read a comic book of Magneto sitting in that chair pontificating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An Al Ewing Magneto book. Come on.
For real. Luna says Armor. I miss Armor a lot. Armor fell the fuck off after Astonishing.
Armor and Pixie, another two right there.
Criminal.
Phantom X, that's the one. Sorry, mine's Phantom X. Redoing it.
Phantom X fell off after X-Force, Uncanny X-Force.
Dude wasn't even around for Krakoa because technically he was Xavier's body. I don't know.
Yep. Xavier took his body. Yeah. Atomic Hound says Ultimate X-Men pick of the week and pass on USM. What in the wide world of sports has happened in Liverpool? Well, Uncanny X-Men is real good for what it's worth.
Yeah. And like, not for nothing, like stuff happened. Like we got action and we got exposition all at the same time. That's more than what happened in Spider-Man.
Hey, Pete Collins is here with us. Pete Collins, the artist behind the Bardic Verses. Tremendous artist, tremendous book. You guys should pick that up. Pete says, you know what I love about this series? I feel like every issue so far could have been an episode of the animated series. Yeah. And I feel like that's the vibe, right? Like the best X books. I mean, I shouldn't say like the best X books that, have this sort of feeling to them. They give you that because the animated series is dramatic and it's got that high drama, but it's also got the the cartoony, the X stuff, the battles and stuff.
It's X-Men. You know we should get Bo DeMayo on X-Men proper, right in that. No, okay. Did something happen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah. Bo DeMayo is a chatterbox now on OF, actually.
Oh. People read that's it's like I'm reading the articles for Playboy. Like
I'm on record. I used to do
know,
that.
yeah, I know.
Indian Point changed my life.
What does that mean?
Is
that someone's name?
No, Indian Point is a nuclear reactor facility that nearly melted down. And I was very horrified in 2003 when I read an article about it in that particular magazine. Yeah.
Great.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Let's get into our next book. Wolverine Revenge.
Nice.
This is a double Hickman week, and I didn't even clock that. But this is written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Greg Capullo, inks by Tim Townsend, colors by FCO Placencia, my man, letters by Corey Pettit. You want to talk about Wolverine? You want to talk about X-Men? This book was the shit. This was awesome, man. I love this comic book. The first issue was good, and it introduced us to, this sort of this alternate reality or whatever, this non-canon world, where Magneto done blown up everything and there's no power anymore, and things have radically changed. And this one just goes whole hog. It's playing the hits on some level. We do get to see Wolverine with, for example, Danny Moonstar, Nick Fury, the Demon Bears make an appearance, that was fire. Forge makes an appearance. Like Wolverine puts on the Magneto helmet to go catch a body. That was crazy.
Which they just added a W to the front of it and some stripes. Like
Hell
he
yeah.
needed to decal it up first.
For no
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah,
There's no reason to do that.
pure aesthetics.
Well, yeah, no, I was sitting here thinking, oh yeah, Wolverine's definitely not the guy that would, make the helmet look like his suit. But no, he fucking did. He definitely fucking did.
Gotta
Hell
style
yeah.
it.
Guys, Capullo is in his bag. This is the best looking book of all the books that I read this week. And Ultimate Spider-Man looked amazing. But oh my God, the combination of Greg Capullo and FCO Placencia, they're a match made in heaven. And those yellows and blacks on Wolverine's costume
Yep.
are incredible. Oh my God. Capullo's one of the greatest artists of all time. Stop playing with Greg. He's doing this in his 60s. Stop playing with him.
And
60?
did you
Yeah,
get-
he's in his 60s.
It's all that working out he does.
did you get the red band for this, Sean?
Oh, you know I did.
How did that look? And at what point? Because it definitely had to be the beheading, and as something with
Sabre 2?
yeah.
So I didn't get the regular version, so I don't know what to compare. I don't have a comparison point, but when he beheads homie, there is blood dripping off the head itself when he brings it into town. And then the battle with Sabretooth it's not I didn't feel like it was overly gruesome, but there's definitely, blood being spewed, and there's a I don't know if you guys have this panel, but Sabretooth is kind of like clawing up at Wolverine,
Yeah.
and there's blood all over Sabretooth's arm coming off Wolverine's face. It's a very bloody war.
To like rip out your heart page.
Maybe
Yeah,
I got
yes.
Yeah.
maybe I got the red band. Whoa.
Yeah.
Good looking book, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I was curious to see to what degree we're seeing the art play out.
Look, I don't know if the red band was worth it or not. I know this shit was $5.99. That's a hefty price. But I'm not gonna miss it. I'm not gonna be the one to buy the regular version and not see some crazy shit. The last issue had Wolverine's regeneration sequence, which you didn't see in the regular version, and that was worth the price of admission to me. So I'm gonna always buy Red Band if it's available. They got me.
All it took was Capullo.
Yes.
I like the directness of the story, and especially the conversation with Sabretooth of just like, oh, I knew you were gonna follow me. I knew you were gonna get here at some point. Let's duke it out. And it's just no thought, jump straight into the fight. Is it? I know you're going down your list. I know you're gonna do this and that. Let's go for it.
To that end, I there are a couple of transitions in this issue that are like, what about this? Can you do this? 1 week later, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's it.
Hell yeah. I love it. Like, this isn't Hickman writing his magnum opus. This isn't Hickman trying to get real deep with Wolverine.
Yeah.
This is really just Hickman creating a playground for Greg Capullo, Tim Townsend, and FCO Placencia to do what they do best. And it's like, on Hickman's part, for me, it's just enough because he's such a good writer that you're not going to be disappointed with what he wrote. Like, it's going to be good, but it's not deep. I don't think it needs to always be deep. He got real deep with, like, let's say, Avengers versus Aliens. Like, there's real good dialogue and there's pontification and things like that. This is not that comic, but I love it all the same. The star is Greg.
It's an action movie.
Yeah.
It's revenge
Die
porn.
Hard.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'm with you, Sean. I'm on the same page as you, but like it's just not hitting as hard with me. Like it was good, and I think Capullo's great. But I think because it was very straightforward, it's a Wolverine getting his revenge and then dismantling some of its biggest people. I'm more interested in seeing the Colossus side of things. I think that's a weird plot line that I want to see.
Yeah.
Kind of, the threads kind of pulled out of that one. But I think this book is just like it's good. It's a good book. This is like a Marco. It's fine. Like that's a good rating, even though it doesn't sound
It's
that
solid.
great. Yeah.
The battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth, man, oh my god. Like, it just looks so good. And Greg Capullo draws a tremendous Sabretooth. He looks so imposing next to Wolverine. I'll never forget in the animated series the episode where Wolverine fucks off to Antarctica or Alaska or whatever, and he's just trying to be a regular old guy. And Sabretooth, sets up this whole plot, and then they fight in the snow. And Sabretooth is like so big, and Wolverine is so small, but they're getting it in. This reminds me of that. This is like classic comics, man. And I wasn't even around for the classic comics of old when these two were getting it in the 80s. But they brought an 80s artist to draw that type of thing. And it's just like, man, it's hitting me where I'm at. Oof, man.
His style just hits for this thing. I something as simple as the stubble on Wolverine's face is just like, yep, looks good, clean.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. The only criticism I had was just the fact that I wished that we got to see the resolution of the fight here, assuming that the next issue is moving on to Colossus, because that's the tease for the next cover. Like, they're going to get into that fight and resolve the Sabretooth fight, I guess. Seems like a lot, but either way.
They're going to do the Ultimate Spider-Man vehicle and just like leave this, and then Wolverine's going to be dealing with Colossus, and well, we know how it ended.
Right, yeah, I guess, yeah. Fair. And it's not like we didn't just see Wolverine kill Sabretooth like 3 months ago in the end of Krakoa, so.
Yeah.
How you rating it, guys?
Pull.
It's still a pull for me. Yeah.
Definitely pull.
Yeah. I definitely want to see how he plays out. How does he just come here and kick ass?
We always talk about like what Marvel compact comics should there be if they ever do something like that. Like I think this in 5 issues as a trade is going to be a damn good Wolverine. Like you like Wolverine, pick this up.
Speaking of which, I actually kind of think we're going to hear an announcement about something like that in a few weeks.
I think Marvel will be dumb not to do it.
Are you going to be a Comic-Con announcement?
Yep.
Marvel loves New York Comic Con.
Yeah, I guess that's a few weeks from now, huh?
Yeah.
Well, guys, you know what? For me, I'm giving this 2 green flags. This is my pick of the week.
Wow.
I'm waving them flags, bro.
Wow.
This was so good. I got to bring out 2 for it.
He couldn't even do a Wolverine 3 green flags.
Oh, you think I
You don't
can't?
think he bought them in bulk?
You think I can't?
You know what? Yeah, I think you can.
Well, that's what
damn,
I
he did
say.
it.
Hey.
That's what I
He did
say.
it. He's the best at what he does.
And that's podcasting. Let's go.
Can I just
This is
one
a good
quick
shit.
shout out too for this book? I like the title, like the design for the title, like Wolverine. And
That's
like
fun.
This block letters. I don't know. There's something about it that is appealing to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Luna with a pass. Triple O with a pass.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know, guys. How can you pass on this? This is the good shit. The Greg Capullo art, to me, is worth the price of admission. I can't wait to see what he does next at Marvel.
Yeah. Oh, yes. More. Just give him more stuff to do.
Yeah. I want to see him draw the Fantastic Four.
Hmm.
Hula?
I don't
His
see
thing
that.
is crazy. You guys, did
Hey,
you guys
yo.
see Tyler? Please, Tyler, please. All right.
He works out, so
What does that mean,
Mm.
Marco?
Yeah, that's a pause on you too, Marco. Jeez, come on.
hey, wait, wherever your mind goes.
Marco, that is a red flag, bro. That was crazy. Usually that goes the opposite way, doesn't it? No, but he posted a drawing of the Fantastic Four, and it was amazing. Like, I want to see that.
It was the
Okay.
variant cover for the most recent issue.
Yeah, right. I'm talking like I bought that. I have that.
Yeah, you own
variant.
it.
He posted it. I bought it. The fuck is wrong with me? Yeah, I don't know. I just thought this was great. Philosopher King says, if Marvel and DC are both doing $10 compact comics, what does that mean for the future of the comics industry? Well, that is a conversation that definitely goes beyond the scope of this podcast. So I really don't want to get too far into that. But if they do end up making the announcement, then we will talk about it at length on the main show. You can be sure of that.
A rising tide
Ooh.
lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Unless you're a comic store.
Well, Cowboy Hulk, Greg Capullo on Moon Knight would be amazing. See that for sure.
I could see that.
Yep.
With who? With Hickman.
Hickman on Moon Knight?
On Moon Knight.
He did Moon Knight. He had a story in the black, what was it called? The Black, White, and Moon, or whatever the hell that was.
Black,
Yeah,
white, and
yeah,
red,
yeah, you're
or
right.
Something like that, yeah.
And it was good.
Has he ever done Daredevil?
Who?
Capullo? Or
Hickman.
No.
not that I can think of.
I feel like that plus Capullo on Daredevil.
Get some Hickman ass takes on religion. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Right,
Religion
right,
or something
right.
like that?
And
Yeah.
They have a new show coming out too. I'm sure they're gonna want some eyes on the book. I could see a new creative team happening around then. Yeah. Even based on what's happening right now with the comic, the storyline could probably wrap up by February, March or so. Yeah.
That's it. He's off Ultimate Spider-Man.
Daredevil Revenge.
Daredevil.
Revenge. Kingpin orchestrates the murder of Foggy again. Who cares? And then Daredevil just goes and kills Bullseye and Stiltman and the Owl and Kingpin. Drawn by
Followed-
Greg Capullo.
Followed
Okay.
up by Daredevil Atonement.
Yes.
Which is all graphs and it's all written like psalms.
Yeah, of course.
Mm.
Braille. Okay. Written by Ryan North with the Braille under captions or whatever.
It's gonna be a little hard on my
Oh.
iPad.
Wow.
Oh,
What you think of the blind community, Tyler?
Okay, I just did.
Great.
Julia Raul says, I would love to see Greg draw Captain Marvel or Guardians of the Galaxy. I would like to see Greg Capullo draw Groot, actually.
yeah. I
Two
can see that.
characters that inexplicably do not have comics right now. Right? Is Captain Marvel have a current run? No, right?
No.
Wild.
It just ended, didn't it?
By just you mean like early this year? Yeah, but still
It's not that
wild
long.
to have a
Like I said, I guess it is that long ago.
yeah.
Not in comics though.
Gore Vidal says Claremont and Miller's Wolverine miniseries from the early 80s, along with the X-Men book from the same year, drawn by Paul Smith, made Logan interesting to me. They added depth to the character that had been lacking before then.
Is that when he looks like a Akira Yoshida with the kimono on?
Oh, my.
Miller-
Wolverine's growing on me.
Miller.
He's
I think
cool,
it might be,
dude.
actually.
I think I came into comics at a time where Wolverine was oversaturated in every book, where it was a meme. During the Bendis era, he was in every Avengers book, he was in every X-Men book, he was in solo books, he was in Spider-Man. That I came in predisposed to be annoyed by Wolverine. But yeah, I like Wolverine as a character. He's great. Logan's fun.
I think the book that finally really sold me on Wolverine was the Civil War tie-in. It was
Yeah.
it was batshit. It didn't make any sense, especially in the context of Civil War, but it was cool as hell.
I like the fact that Wolverine was the one who said, you know what? All this warring between heroes shit, don't care about it. I'm going after the perpetrator. I'm going to kill Nitro.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Oh, some Berto Ramos on art too, huh?
It was fire, man.
I remember he was on the cover at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like interiors too. Hell yeah.
That was one of the better Civil War tie-ins to me.
Yeah.
Just like this book, straightforward. Like, no fluff, no frills. You did this, I'm killing you.
Also, like, compared to the and I mean compare in the good way to the Ben Percy Krakoa stuff.
Yes.
You know, the Ten of Swords or whatever. Wolverine says, okay, I'm gonna go to hell and pick up the Muramusa blade, and I'm in this contest now.
Gotta go do it.
Flo, you troll.
I was just about to say that.
You troll. Flo Dameron says Capullo on Batman. It would be great to see him get a crack at that. Man, listen.
Wild.
Not that I would turn it down, but frankly, I've gotten enough. And I think Greg has too. 62 years old. My man's clock is ticking. He's trying to play all the hits and do as best as he can on Marvel's end, you know, while he still has it in the tank. I think he's doing the best work of his career right now. How about that?
Yeah, agreed. Hard agree. He's got his style down pat, and he's getting all the books.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's shift away from Marvel and get into the listener pick this week. By a landslide, I genuinely did not expect this, guys. I did not think it would be so easy that this won. But Batman The Long Halloween #1, The Last Halloween, won the listener poll. Like, you guys really wanted us to read this. It wasn't even close.
What was it? Damn, 56%? Yo,
It was pretty
chill.
much split evenly between the other
56%.
three too.
Yeah. Woof. Boy, oh boy. So this is Jeff Loeb on the words with art by Eduardo Riso. Dave Stewart on the colors. Richard Starking is on the letters, and he was credited with the overall design. I don't remember the Zero issue. I don't remember what happened, and I wasn't about to read it again to catch up or to refresh my memory. And that's okay. I don't think that it was overly necessary to have the context of whatever happened. I think if you've read The Long Halloween, that's enough to understand what happens here. And so this issue shows us that Harvey, Two-Face, and Gilda are reunited. Batman has a Robin, and they're chasing Catwoman. You know, that's pretty classic and straightforward. This book largely plays with the same cast that we've been getting since The Long Halloween. So it's got Jim Gordon and drama with his wife. You know, James Gordon, you know, the son is involved. We even get a Solomon Grundy appearance. I don't know how someone was able to kill him. But okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
He's always dying.
He already died, dude. He came. It's in this fucking catchphrase. Came back on a Monday.
That's
Or
what I'm
whatever.
saying. Yeah, he dies every week.
He's just a big guy. Like, how big do you have to be to choke a guy like that with a chain and kill him?
A word.
Leverage, buddy.
Bro. What the hell?
Gut.
Couldn't he just be like, nah?
And especially with how far away that chain is.
Yeah, damn. Who was that, Bane?
Yeah, that person does not have leverage.
A word. He could have easily just stood up a little bit and fallen out.
I guess he wanted to fulfill the rhyme, so he just was like, I'll let it happen.
There is something about that though that I feel like maybe it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing, you know?
Yeah. I gotta resurrect tomorrow anyway, so we might as well.
Yeah, I'll be back. What's today? Friday? Yeah. What'd you guys think of this one?
This was my pick of the week.
Okay. All right. You know what, Tyler? You go for it.
I don't know why it exists. That being said, there is something. It's like a chicken noodle soup when I get back into this Jeff Lowe Batman world.
Mm.
That is just warm and feels good. And Eduardo Risso is not Tim Sale, but goddamn is he as close as Tim Sale as you can get, and still being your own person. Risso is one of my favorite artists. Risso is, you put Risso on a book, I'm reading the book. You know, I don't care who's writing it. I just love the way Risso's art looks. I knew this was my pick of the week as soon as we got to that Two-Face splash page where he's just lounging and Gilda's in the back just scheming. And I think the Zero issue was like almost proved that Gilda was the holiday killer, I think, or at least alluded to it more heavily. And I don't know, like like as I'm reading this, parts of it were dumb, where it's like, oh no, we're doing the same thing over again, and it like calls itself out multiple times for like, you know, it's the Muppets were doing a sequel song, but it, I don't know, in a way, it calling itself out made me like it more too. It really is like Loeb talked about. This is a love letter to Tim, really. And he kind of wanted to go back in here, have some of people who were influenced by Tim or knew Tim really well to play in their sandbox as like a tribute in a way. And it just feels good. This is my jam when it comes to Batman. And actually throwing in Robin is a good wrinkle too, because we didn't have Robin before.
But we did. He was in the sequel. And he's great.
Well, not I guess the sequel to Long Halloween, which is Dark Victory, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't read that one.
You ever read Dark Victory, bro? Damn.
No.
To me, Dark Victory is better than Long Halloween.
Dark Victory is, I don't agree with that necessarily, but Dark Victory is amazing.
It's great.
And just real quick, Tyler mentioned the double page splash with Two-Face and Gilda. Bro, why does Two-Face, why are they posing like that? Two-Face has the wine.
It's hard.
He's just chilling, bro. And then Gilda's in the background like, oh, my love. And she's got the pizza and the wine there too. You know what kind of night they're having.
Yeah.
You know what they're getting up to. Both sides of Two-Face are happy tonight.
Hey, yo.
Do you think it's also split?
Hell yeah, bro.
Whoa.
He's split down the middle.
Whoa. Wow.
Man, listen.
Yeah, I'm with Tyler. I don't want to go down the other road. But
Wow.
I feel good in this soup that Jeff Loeb has made. Like this his voice for this Batman in particular is ancient nostalgic comics for me. Like it's like as soon as I came to grips with the narration, and like it took me exactly as long as like you know, the second page, which is the Two-Face and Gilda spread, and wish I hadn't phrased that way. And then I was like, okay, I know exactly where I am. I know exactly where I fit in this. Also wish I hadn't said that. And it felt good. I think my issue actually was the art. I think I'm sort of against this in that respect. I'm just not interested in this world. I think without Tim Sale. I think Eduardo does a pretty decent job of, you know, like Tyler said, like mimicking his style while also keeping his own. But I think those little flashes of his own style kind of hampered it for me. So I just like it just didn't feel right.
I I understand your guys' soup metaphor, and I frankly I don't want that. Like I came into this book having to be very cognizant of the fact that I'm not interested in more of this world, and so I had to remove myself from that. I'm like, okay, like that's gonna cloud the critique. Like that's not fair, right? And so coming into it, nothing re-engaged me. Nothing took it and said, "Hey, this is of good flavor," or "This is of good dialogue that I can care with." Some of the individual characters, or I mean, frankly, some of the art. I wasn't always that big of a Tim Sale fan. Sometimes his stuff would look a little wonky, and that could be, that is stylistics to some degree, but in other instances, it felt like not great form sometimes. And for me, the most egregious element of that was when Riso did there was the moment of where they're looking at the painting, and then they're like looking in the mirror, and you see Mario, Falcone, and Catwoman, and they don't look. It doesn't look like it's you're looking at a reflection. It looks like he didn't get the size right. They're shrunk. They look chibi,
See
and
what
for
you-
me, that felt
Yeah.
that just felt like, yes, exactly. That just was poorly done, and so I had quite a bit of conflict or gripes with the art from just that form perspective. And the story didn't do anything for me. The dialogue felt flat. The interactions between him and Gordon weren't engaging. I found Robin to be a little annoying. So I was upset by the fact that I couldn't find my way in. Um, yeah.
I love this. I thought this was really great. And there are a lot of weeks where this would have been my pick of the week. Uh, Jeff Loeb has had his struggles, and like I wouldn't necessarily be looking for Jeff Loeb to be writing like Blue Beetle or something like that. But him getting to play in the sandbox that he created with Tim Sale and go back to that place, it's clear to me that there's still something worth doing here,
Yeah.
and he is in command of it. Like, this felt so good to me. It doesn't If you only read Long Halloween, Dark Victory, the Color series, and then you went to this and you read nothing else that Loeb has done in between, you would think that this man has never lost the beat at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
It's like putting on a pair of slippers you found in your closet.
Mm-hmm.
Still comfy and they fit right.
Yep.
He's on point. I mean, even Robin, like Marco mentioned, Robin was annoying. Well, welcome to being a kid. Like he is a little annoying, but he's also capable. He's also talented. And that to me feels like what Robin is supposed to be. You know, um Jim Gordon, he's still not the world's greatest dad. He's still got this struggle. Now his son is missing. So there's a present mystery for us to like follow. And then, are these guys in the Joker gang here at the end? Or is it something else? Why do they look like the same goons from the Dark Knight? I don't know. Like, there are some good questions that I actually care to see the answer to. And then the art, man. I understand what Marco said, and I like the panel. The panel Marco pointed out is objectively a rough panel, but I don't think there are many, if any, others. I think by and large this looks real good, and I was very satisfied. That where it's raining and Batman meets Jim on the roof, and Jim's just tired, and you can see it, like he looks worn out. It's just great.
What do you think about the subsequent issues having each different artist?
If they bring it, they bring it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Normally, traditionally, one artist, one series to me. But
Mm.
I understand that this is a unique situation. They want to pay tribute, and who am I to say that that's the wrong strategy? If in the end they bring in some artists who don't nail it, that'll suck. But I haven't seen the full list because I don't think it's out. But the artists we know are coming on board are all heavy hitters.
It's very interesting. There's next issue's Klaus Janson. Then we have Cliff Chang.
Come on.
Bill Sienkiewicz. Bill Sienkiewicz looks like a Joker issue, which is like
Huh.
mind-boggling.
That's gonna be nuts.
What are we
Chris-
talking
Wow.
about?
Chris
That's
Samney is
it.
doing it.
Okay, I'm in it.
It's a love letter to the Long Halloween. I feel written by the guy. Well, written by, I guess, who said it in the chat here. Roboters. It should be noted that Loeb is working off stuff him and Tim Sale came up with, and I think Loeb's talked about, like, him and Tim Sale will talk about this constantly. So he had ideas written down, even after his passing. So it's a love letter to that, and it's just that feels good to celebrate a creator in a way like this, which is by creating.
This was awesome. Had a lot of fun with this. And you know what? I was timid coming into this. I had trepidations. And when I was picking it up off the shelf, I was like, man, I really hope this is good because it's the last Halloween. So I presume that means they're never going back to this. I want my memories of, the Long Halloween story to be positive. I don't want this to feel like a cash grab or something like that. And 1 issue out of 10, it feels pretty good. Maybe it doesn't live up to what the Long Halloween was. It'd be very hard to do that. But it can still be a worthy follow-up and tribute. And I think so far it is.
Even if it's just a tribute to Tim Sale and it's a gathering of, his contemporaries and friends who get together and work on a story in his name, that fucking rules.
Yeah.
Sean Scalera is on this too.
That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting.
I was gonna pass on this, but I'm gonna pull just so I can get to see what that other art looks like, and maybe that's a better draw for me. Maybe building on the art, pulling me in through there, will help me grow and appreciate the words a bit more.
This gets a big old green flag from me. I am pulling this for sure. Shit, I'd have pulled it just off the double page spread of Two-Face and Gilda.
They look like they were letting someone watch them pull it.
Oh my. Listen, this is a family-friendly podcast.
Yeah, BJ, headphones.
We had a guy, whose origin was it that I did that said this? Oh man. It was one of the guys I did their origin for. It was Simon Galeforce, who goes, he went, oh, I really loved it. Thank you so much. My kids think I'm a celebrity now. And I'm like, oh no, that's the only origin that I cursed in. Like, damn, I don't want your kids to hear that.
Daddy, tell us the origin again.
Oh man. Atomic Hound says, you mean you don't want a Dark Knight Strikes Again, Sean? Look, you know what? I actually have never read The Dark Knight Strikes Again.
That's wild. That's a wild book.
We've talked about it several times. I think you'd hate it. I really do.
So the common perspective on that book over the years is what precluded me from picking it up in the first place.
Yeah.
And then, anytime we've talked about it on the show, it's been like, it's not good. So I'm not going out of my way to get it. But I got to read it one day.
Tyler and I love it.
I have to give it a reread.
It's
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I probably read it at the same time in like my formative years as I read like The Long Halloween. So like to me, it's like right in my Batman timeline. Like, forget it.
Canon event.
Yeah.
Julia Raul asks, is Long Halloween like Batman the Animated Series?
So Julia also asked if there were any new current books that aren't dark and edgy closer to the animated series as well.
Yes. There is the Batman the Animated Series comic book.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's The Adventures Continue or something.
Yes, The Adventures Continue. It's very good.
Jordan Gibson's on that.
If you want that flavor, you can actually just literally go buy that. And it's not old, it's current stuff.
And good stuff too. Can't believe I forgot about
Otherwise, look, I honestly think that personally, I don't find the current Batman run to be edgy. That word to me is loaded with a lot of stuff that I don't think applies to most of what we get with Batman. And I certainly wouldn't say that about like Scott Snyder's Batman run. I don't think it was edgy. You know, Joker ripping his face off was dumb, and that was edgy, I guess. But I don't know, man. Batman is kind of a gothic-y character a lot of times, and I think you can do that without it veering into the territory of like extreme darkness or heaviness. I wouldn't say we've gotten much extreme darkness or heaviness in the Batman books of the last 20 years. And Long Halloween is certainly not in that category at all.
Yeah, it's more noir, crime, drama. So I think it fits that like edgelord stuff. What is that? Like metal?
Even that I don't feel like that's edgy.
Hmm.
It wasn't even, I don't even think metal was dark. I don't know. I think that
it.
people put too much stock into those descriptors for Batman where I don't feel like they apply personally most of the time.
Yeah.
I personally though think the Long Halloween and Dark Victory are great candidates for the animated series comparison. I think they work really well in that sort of format, I guess.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'd probably say Hush too. Hush
That,
is maybe.
yo, I was
Oh,
just gonna
yeah.
say that. Yeah.
Hush, I would say, is probably influenced by the animated series.
Another lobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other good comments, guys?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Marco was talking about Robin, and
Oh.
he said Marco said that he finds Robin a little annoying, and Flo Dameron said, "I'm finding Marco a little bit annoying right now."
And to counter that, besmirching my name, MPL Murphy says, I really respect Marco's POV there. What a growth in criticism and personal perspective on taste. Real good. Thank you, MPL Murphy, whomever you are.
Man, I can't tell if he's sarcastic sometimes, though.
How should I figure it out, actually? So I wanted to say it out loud.
Aaron Ruiz says, "Bad Marco, go read Ultimatum to rethink your actions against this book." And you guys were saying that you think that Marco would like Ultimatum. I recently reread Ultimatum. If Marco likes Ultimatum, I don't understand Marco anymore.
Why would you do that to yourself, Sean?
Oh, I did it because of the maker and
Ah.
you know, the Reed Richards aspect.
Is he even in that?
Reed is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's not the maker yet, but Marco.
Just
All
gotta
right.
Add it.
Hmm?
Oh, Jeff Loeb, look at that.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You didn't know that?
That's
Didn't know that.
The bridge we were trying to use to cross. Okay.
all right. Let's get into the last book of the day. This is Creepshow.
Oh, the book
We
about
are-
Marco.
We are fast approaching October, which is, of course, spooky month, not only in real life, but also here at Comics Pals headquarters. We have the nomination threads up right now where you can nominate your favorite spooky superhero book to be considered for our book club for October. I have seen the nominations coming in, and I don't know how this is going to work. We'll figure it out. But you guys are nominating like everything. Like it's there's a lot. It's a widespread, if you will. So please make sure you get your nominations in. Anywhere that you engage with us, you can leave a nom. YouTube.com/The Comics Pals. Under the community tab, there's a thread. Patreon.com/The Comics Pals for free. You don't have to pay us a dollar or cent to be able to nominate a book. And our Discord server, there's a post that I made. You can just drop your nomination in the book club tab on the Discord. It doesn't cost you any money whatsoever to nominate a book, so please do that. That aside, Image and Skybound decided to kick things off a little bit early with this Creepshow book. This is a two-story issue. I don't know if that's the format going forward. I would imagine so. I've never read Creepshow. This is volume 3, so maybe others here have more experience than I do with this concept. But the first story is called Let Her Rip by Chip Zdarsky, with Kagan McLeod on the art and Pat Brousseau on the letters. The second story is Scrimshaw by James Sticco, who did all of the writing, art, and lettering on that particular story. Let's start with the first one. What you guys think of Let Her Rip?
I thought this felt like a very Chip story to me. This one felt like Chip was approached to do something for this book, and he went, "Yeah, okay, I got something." Just a very light, Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps type horror, that you could give a kid, on Halloween or something. There's nothing like overly shocking. There's some gore, some blood, but it's not. It's that comical, that comical style. I gotta say that the ending doesn't totally make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I sort of had trouble with this one just all the way through, because I felt like so it's bookended by, I don't know, the Creeper or whoever this guy is.
Yeah.
And I felt like for this being an issue 1, granted volume 3, there wasn't like an introduction to like the episode or whatever. So I almost felt like I missed a page in the beginning. So he just kind of dived right in, and that was like, okay, fine. And then the story, like I said, went that Chip way, and then this lady explodes with color, and it starts killing people. I don't know. It just didn't jive. It didn't totally make sense to me.
Can I just sorry, Tyler, I just want to interrupt. Beyond Wednesdays says amazing 1/10 ratio cover on this issue. I haven't seen it. That's awesome. I'd love to see it. Beyond Wednesdays, I am a fan of your channel. It's good to see you here.
Cool.
I didn't know you listened to us, but I listened to you guys. So thank you for being here and hanging out with us. Sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I kind of agree with Cale on this one. Like this is, but at the same time, I'm not disparaging the story for it. The story did what it's supposed to do. They're campy, goofy, gory horror stories. I agree with you. I wish there was not like necessarily a recap page, but like when the Crypt Keeper does his thing, and maybe like a page of him introducing, like what these stories we're going to be getting for this issue, like that. I probably would have enjoyed. Instead, we just get a third of a panel at the top of a page. I did like the design of it. I think the artist also did Kagan McLeod. He did Kaptara with Chip.
And a little known book, a creator-owned book himself. It was called like Kung Fu Zombies or something.
Sure.
Incredible. Highly recommend.
But like I think they do what they need to do in this. I think there's a bit of a morality tale in it. It's the mom trying to, she holds her daughter back from letting loose her creativity, and in turn, when she does it herself, she kills people doing it. And there's the very Chip moment where she realizes like the head of this cult is like her old coworker, And they're like, "Oh, hey Gary, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh yeah."
That was funny as fuck.
I thought that was a
goofy.
good. That was a good
That was
bit. I
goofy.
was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is why this is different than like Silver Coin or Tales from the Crypt because Creepshow is always a little goofy." So yeah, I enjoyed that as well. This is exactly kind of what I wanted out of this. Just little hors d'oeuvres of goofy horror.
Go ahead, Marco.
Sorry, that I guess I wanted more and maybe was expecting Silver Coin. I came in with that expectation, and when it didn't hit, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel like something I would necessarily enjoy. But I think that was because I already had that expectation, and I think the once you get into it, it works perfectly fine as yeah, like a morality tale, and a little story. You're in and out, and fine. I think functionally that's good, and I like Kagan McLeod a lot. So I was glad to see his name on the book. Um, Wall Street Journal comics are actually pretty good, so you guys can go check that out.
Did you just say Wall Street Journal comics?
I had to think about that for a second too.
Yeah, he does stuff with one of the editors there. That's how I know this guy from.
Huh. Okay.
I think comics in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, there's like a little strip here, panels, five panels.
Okay.
You know, I had no intention of getting this, but I'm kind of glad I did. I mean, I don't know. The first story, I really loved Tales from the Crypt. I used to freak myself out watching that. And this first story very, very much gives me that sort of vibe. I like the fact that there's a little bit of goofiness. It doesn't undercut the point of the story. I sort of think it's more like, you never know who that person is. Like it could be Gary, who's the cult leader, who's the perpetrator, the murderer or whatever. And I like the idea that this woman, she takes these mushrooms and it transforms her, and that's the worst fear of what's going to happen to someone who's on these drugs, that they're going to lose their mind and all of a sudden become a murderer. And sometimes things like that happen. There are weird stories of people taking drugs and taking their clothes off and running into the forest never to be seen again, or just doing bugged out stuff. Sometimes it does get violent. And this is one of those stories where it's like this woman's repressed. She's lived her life largely on the inside, never expressing herself, her creativity. And the mushrooms allow her to sort of, explode, and it makes her inside world her outside world. And like, would that ever happen in real life? Obviously not. Obviously, she wouldn't just start exploding with color and killing people. But that's not the point of this. The point of this is that it takes some element of reality, right? Which is like culty panic. This felt very 80s, although it's not in the 80s, but it feels like that. And it adds something unrealistic to it, but there is a tether to our world that makes it feel good. And that's like the DNA of all these kinds of anthology stories. I thought it was effective.
And they're kind of, it's a bit of a boom right now for them. The Creepshow's back. Silver Coin was a thing. The EC comics are back, which I checked out a couple of those. They're pretty fun.
Yeah.
So there's a definite need for these. Like Creepshow is a book that you would just find on someone's table. Like you find issue 14 on someone's table out of context, and you could read it. You just pick it up. And that's kind of what I like about these books, that I think is different from all the other comics we talk about.
I think one of the things that Cale mentioned and about like the introduction of these books, that felt antiquated. It felt very present a tale type thing, what is it, Twilight Zone stuff, and I guess I didn't necessarily expect that, and it took me out of the book because it for a second it was, and here now is this tale. It didn't immerse me, and that's more so maybe a me issue than it is the construction of the book. But I think that it took me a second to get into these stories.
Are you saying you do agree with me or you don't?
I think you said you liked it, right?
No,
Oh, then I'm agreeing with you. I didn't like it as well.
that tool. I'm saying I wish it did have that in even just an introductory page.
I'm saying that what we got even here, I did not enjoy. I don't think that even if you had gotten me that introductory page, that would have enhanced the book for me in any way.
Marco doesn't like that there's a narrator
Yeah,
introducing
yeah.
the stories.
Right.
Yeah, he's fine to be wrong. That's fine. No, that's funny because I think we felt the same way in opposite directions. I felt that way because I felt like we didn't have the narrator, but you felt that way because we did.
Right.
Interesting.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I really like the second story a lot.
I like the second story a lot more.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
First off, James Stokoe. Whenever I see Stokoe's name on a book, that's a must pick up for me.
Yep. Agreed.
James Stokoe is Cale. He does a Godzilla series.
Okay, I will get.
Yep,
into
it's a
getting familiar with him.
year war, I think, 1,000 year war, something like that. Godzilla. But Stokoe is he is a name that draws me to anything. And then I saw him on this book, and I was like, "Oh, Creepshow! That's gonna be Stokoe just doing a horror story in and out." And I was in for it. And then it's a story of this like sea town, almost like the town that that Aquaman hung out with in the movies. And one guy in it finds this weird sea monster that etches runes and stories into human bones, and he is addicted to the story and what happens because of that. And it's being told like a fisherman's tale throughout. And the guy he's telling it to is some like suit business guy, and you could tell he thinks, all right, this is all bullshit. This is just a tall, big fish, tall tale. But we're seeing it happen, and we know like, oh, this shit's gruesome. But Stokoe just drawing it is insane. Like the guy, the monster he draws feels like something out of a Resident Evil or like an Elden Ring. It's just this weird, hunched back, almost Grim Reaper, but his hood is like a lobster cage. It's so good, and it's just there's a lot of gristle in this. It's not even gore. This is more gristle. It's just sinewy muscles hanging from bones, and there's a real aura to the story that's creepy. And man, the one panel where the fisherman takes an axe to the guy's head, and you can see like his eyes go in different directions, and like he's split in two. Man, I love that kind of goofy gore in a comic.
You know what this felt like to me was an Uzumaki.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Like this one guy has a really weird, particular obsession, and he follows it through to like the insane, bitter end, and then like it has like a cosmic bent to it at the same time.
Yeah, the second story was cool. I liked it less than the first one. But the monster was really creepy. And I also like the fact that like the monster's not the point. The point is the guy. That the guy is nuts.
Yeah.
And he's sort of following this all the way through. And I also like the small bit of the plot that's like, this guy who comes into the town and, he thinks he's just going to get some kind of, a story out of this. And, he's trying to tell him, hey, here's how you guys can turn this place into a real tourist trap and make all this kind of money. And, he's undervaluing and underselling what this town is about and what it is. And that's a tale as old as time. But that's why you read horror anthologies. Like you don't read I'll speak for myself. I don't watch or read this kind of thing because I need something dramatically new and fresh. It's more about the way they play on the old stories that we've all read already or seen already. I'm here for it.
Sometimes you just want to see the guy you know and hate get what's coming to him.
Yeah. Pretty much. Silver Coin, is another one that's doing, it has a different vibe, I guess. It's a little more serious, but even there was the one issue that was, I believe it was actually written by Kelly Thompson, where maybe I'm wrong about that, but it was meant to be a representation of like old slashers.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that was her. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we've all seen slashers a million times,
Yep.
but it just works. This is a great format for horror stories.
Yeah, Lake, whatever it was, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Creepshow, actually, it was an old comic. It predates Tales from the Crypt, so it kind of
Oh,
has this built into the DNA of comic books too. Which I was just happy to see that title on a cover again, like where the top third is cut off just to show all the information, and then you have like a cool little. It's like Goosebumps did the same thing for kids books, you know. It's great. It's great. The movies are interesting. Sean, I would recommend Creepshow 2. It is really bad but really fun.
they got movies?
I wish you wouldn't
Yeah.
have led with really bad.
Well, so there's the first story is about a killer cigar smoking Native American wooden figure, and then like a killer raft, which is a wild story. The first one I think is a more full length story with like Leslie Nielsen, which also appealing.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll be
Who's
looking that
Leslie
up this
Nielsen?
weekend. Airplane.
Naked Gun,
You don't like comedy,
Scary
so you
Movie,
will.
Scary Movie 3.
I don't think I don't think I got that far with
No,
Scary
he
Movie.
was the president.
Yeah, this is an easy green flag for me. I'm pulling on this. I don't know if I'm gonna like buy the next issue necessarily, but I'm very satisfied with the experience that I had with this one.
I feel like it's one of those that you could just see it in the store and just be like, "Ooh, cool," and
Yeah.
pick it up if you have the spare.
Or pick up based on creative team. Like
tenner.
I see Chip Zdarsky on
Exactly.
this, and I say like, yeah, I want to check that out. James Stocco, yeah, I want to check that out. If issue 2 doesn't, light my pants on fire with who's on it, I don't need to, but I can check out number 3, and I will not lose or gain anything for doing it.
That I feel like that's the advantage of this kind of format
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
I don't need to pop in every once in a while. Like a cover might catch me. Oh, I haven't seen that name in a while. Then that's it.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it suffers in sales because of that.
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
think go ahead.
Sorry, I think that's tough because I think this book knows what it is, and it benefits from that. But I could see in like consistent sales, I could see it sort of hampering it today.
I would also say that there are people for whom this is their absolute jam, and they're gonna buy this loyally regardless. And that's cool. Like I don't know that this book has to do tremendous numbers in order to justify itself, but starting out in September and assuming we'll get the second issue next month, I think they're doing as good of a job as they can trying to set themselves up for success. And I'm into that. The next issue has let's see, art by Martine Morazzo and Chris O'Halloran.
Ooh,
Ice Cream Man
Is that
team.
am I right about that, or are
Yeah.
these just different covers?
That
No,
might
that
be a
makes
different
sense.
cover. I can.
Oh,
check.
it says issue 2.
Okay.
Yeah, this is issue 2.
Sick.
Jorge Fornes is credited.
Ooh.
John Ridley is credited. Yeah, so okay.
It's got like Creepshow's got enough of a name on it that I'm sure they can get pretty good creators to do like their take on it.
Wow, John Ridley. Wow.
Yeah, that's random, but why not? Sure.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually gonna buy the second issue based on that.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Chris
Yeah,
Condon, issue 3.
in the letters issue, in the letters column in the back, it says, "Keep the letters coming and get ready for the horrific pair of stories next month from the likes of Eugenio Mira and Jorge Fornes and John Ridley and Stefano Raphael."
Oh, Tyler,
Oh.
you'll know. Stefano Raphael recently, we read something from him. Damn, I don't
Moon Knight.
remember.
A lot of Italian names in Marvel right now. It was a Marvel book, I
Yeah.
feel like, though.
Yeah, pretty sure it was a Marvel book. Well, and in any event, I will definitely be picking up the next one. This was good to me, and I'm happy we read this. It wasn't originally intended to
Yeah.
be on the stack, but I'm happy we read it anyway. It's fun.
It looks like he's on either Daredevil or Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man?
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but that name just, I swear I recently read something by that person.
Hmm.
We all pull, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyler pulls. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
did not my yeah didn't come through? Okay. Yeah.
No.
Cool. So we've got one last piece of business to take care of, which is, of course, the stack. For those of you who are new here and unfamiliar, this segment is based around the idea that I buy a whole lot of comics every week. And you guys are going to, from this point, share the amount of books that you think I bought this week. And whoever is the closest to that number without going over can get the code for any of the Marvel books that we did not read on the show this week. However, this week actually two of the Marvel books were locked behind like having to send Marvel an image of the cover, and so they wouldn't immediately send it. So that would be Uncanny X-Men. You know how that goes, Cale.
You have to say, I didn't know you had to send them an image of the cover. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a manual process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
dumb.
Like sending in
And it's
like
completely random. Like some books don't have that, and then some do, and there's really no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that this week that was Wolverine Revenge and Uncanny X-Men. So those will also be in the pile. But yeah, otherwise it'll just be whatever Marvel books I got. So please share your numbers with us. I see them already hitting, which I love. Also a part of this segment is generally my tales of the LCS. You guys know my LCS. You've heard this segment before. I don't know that I want to go as deep into it as I did last week, but I did want to share this bit because I couldn't believe my eyes. So I walk into the shop and it was a pretty busy day. It was a pretty busy day. Notably, I got there later than I normally do, and I was unable to get the cover that I wanted for Amazing Spider-Man. I wanted cover A, and they were sold out of that. It was gone. But go ahead, Tyler,
and people say nobody's buying that book. Come on.
please.
Can I ask, what time do you go?
I normally
Roughly.
get there between 10 and 11 a.m. every week.
Wow.
Damn, early.
Yeah. But this week I got there a little bit later. I got there about 12-ish and it was already gone. So I guess the lunch crowd. But what happened that I wanted to share with you guys, if you were here last week and you recall the story that I told about the guy who he's there every single week, every week at the same time, he was telling a woman, sort of mansplaining comics to her. He was doing the same thing again. But this time it was a young dude. Now, I didn't add this piece last week because I didn't think it was relevant, but it's definitely relevant this week. I think there's a pattern here. The woman from last week was a black woman. The kid from this week was a black kid. I don't know if there's anything about that that's relevant, like if there's some deliberateness to it, but I don't know. I don't even know how he finds these people. Like, how does he end up sucked into these conversations with these people? Like, can you let people shop? And then he's following the kid around. The kid's trying to buy books and he's following him around like, oh, have you ever read this? Do you know about that? And it's just like, yo, can you let people do what they're here to do? Now, mind you, I am very aggravated by the concept of people standing around. I don't like people standing around in stores. Do what you're there to do. And this motherfucker, the most annoying part, he had already bought his books.
Go home. Read them.
Yo, where?
Get the fuck out.
Leave.
He already bought his books. You don't work here. Why are you here?
Take up oxygen.
Just carrying them around in a bag, or
Yes.
like,
And if it's one of the Midtown paper bags, that's a frustrating thing to hold.
yeah. Yeah. It's a great point. Not for this guy.
He
Yeah.
don't care. He doesn't give a fuck about me, you, the black people that he's harassing, anybody. Stop mansplaining comics. Leave people alone.
Near says, do the comic shop employees at your LCS, aren't they like, hey, stop or get out of the aisles?
You would think.
My experience at this place is like, nah, they don't give a fuck.
They don't care at all, dude. Not at all. They don't say shit. I have never once been in this particular store and seen them chastise someone or even gently ask them to move when they're doing that. And this week it was like egregious. There were 3 people reading the same comic together.
No.
Literally standing around each other like, oh, look at this. Like, why are you, first of all, how do you read the same comic? Like 3 people, 1 copy, reading it together. Think about that in your mind. Visualize that. There's no space for anybody to get in here. How am I going to wedge myself in between 3 motherfuckers? Can you move?
Yeah,
They don't even have the decency to walk back. There's actually a line at my LCS. There's like a yellow-blue line or whatever that denotes where you need to stand back from if you're not actively buying. They don't care.
That's insane. That drives me nuts. I'm not a violent man. I'll shove some fools.
It makes me want to become a violent guy when I see this. It's like, yo, please.
Come on, man.
Rami says this may mean that he was in the shop from 10 a.m. It doesn't matter what time I get there. He's there. It's like he's a ghost.
Can't wait to see Sean.
My worst nightmare, Marco, would be if he somehow got wind of this segment.
5th chair?
You want to see violence.
You'd get to talk less, Sean.
Because that's what I want to do. I remember those days.
Hey, my man started a podcast because he wanted to talk less.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Keep getting your guesses in for the stack. I know we're not done yet. I know some of you have thoughts on my number. We'll get into it in a second. Kyle says none of my LCS give a fuck what's happening in their stores. The employees are all just talking to themselves 24/7. Yeah, bro. Dude, it's annoying at my LCS. They always just chitter chatter with each other. Can you work? Can you do some work?
You manage
or are they
the
busy
line,
themselves? They move shit from one place to another.
Yeah. Busy work. Hey, boss isn't got to make sure I look like I'm doing something.
Listen, they work retail. They work retail in one of the biggest cities in the world. Leave them alone.
All right.
Let them live.
All right.
Hey, listen, let them barely live.
With their
Fresh
5
News
roommates.
24. Sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
I was going to say they can live with their 5 roommates.
Yeah.
Thanks, New York City.
Fresh News says, I stopped going to my LCS after the owner's wife put her hot food on my books.
No way.
I read that as like a euphemism for something, like her hot food. And I'm like, what is that? Oh, no, you meant actual food. I'm just a
I
deviant.
literally looked at my wife. She knew what I was thinking. Were you thinking you wanted to be a violent guy? Or did you want your wife to become a violent woman?
Was it like
Man.
stinky food too? Like that can get worse if it's like,
Nah.
she
Yeah.
put her
Or like
hot fish
oily,
on
has
there.
residue on it.
Through.
Yeah.
What difference does it make? I'm not taking these books home.
It's bad,
Someone
but it
spilled
could be
food on
extra
them.
bad.
Yeah.
They're gone. I'm not buying these. Get the fuck out of here. You owe me a refund. My stack this week should be free.
Yeah.
Yo, facts.
Wow.
That's nuts.
He might start stalking you, Sean, says Rami. Let him stalk me. Let him.
Sean goes 2 places. Home and there. So it's not going to make that much difference.
Man, listen.
Slap that food right off them books.
You guys are funny. Philosopher King says, I'd have been like, have you ever read Leave Me the Hell Alone? Yo, for real. And I've interacted with this guy before. I already told that story. I won't retell it, but I have had an interaction with this person before, and I don't want another one. So I hope he leaves me alone. But also leave all people alone. Leave all black people alone.
I would say there are comic shops where talking to other patrons is part of the community of it. It ain't the shop Sean's going to. That is a transient shop. There is no room for that
Yeah.
physically.
That shop is like the 7-Eleven of comic books.
Yeah.
You go in, you get your Slurpee, you get out.
Especially since DC went back to Wednesdays.
Yeah,
Oh,
more people now.
sure.
Yeah, crowded.
Yo, I just realized next week is the beginning of All In.
Yeah.
Oh man, you better.
Oh my
oof.
God.
I don't know when to tell you to show up.
Yo. And then the week after is the debut of Absolute Batman. That's just gonna be packed.
That's gonna be worse than next week.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm hyped. I'm hyped. All right. Let's get into the stack numbers. Let's play the game. Take it away, Cale.
We have Dan Trudeau coming in solid at 16. Near is at the unlucky but Taylor Swift's favorite number 13. Rami Darwish says 17. Philosopher King says 14. Triple Ho says Sean missed a few last week. Justin says 15. Marowak Casquiro says 20. James Jones, perennial winner, has lessened his number this week. Normally it goes for 18. This week, James Jones says 16 for Sean. Triple Ho says, or was that the week before? Roboter says the mighty stack is clocking in at the end of September. Gonna go with the 12. Cole says 12. Luna says 11. I think Hound says 1089 in honor of Rom V's closing chapter to the Detective Comics opus.
Yes.
We had a couple that came in later.
Mm-hmm.
We have Marowak Iskiro with the 3 cuckoos.
That was reference to the
Near
story.
for 13. Near's got 13 on the stack. I have Shauna Lee with 15. Mike Hank at 12. And Triple Ho coming in at the last second with 19.
Deliberating.
All right. So we've got the 5 that we reviewed. So we're starting from that number. I've got here Biker Mice from Mars, number 3.
Wow.
Did you read 2?
Nope.
Okay.
But the first issue was a banger, so I'm gonna keep pulling it. I'll catch up. The Power Fantasy number 1. Now I couldn't remember if I was able, because the first issue I wasn't able to get a copy, but I couldn't remember
Okay.
if I got the second printing. This is the 3rd printing,
Wow.
but I saw it and I was like, might as well buy it because I don't remember if I have first issue, and it would drive me insane if I didn't have a copy.
As a collector, Sean, does having a 3rd printing feel the same as having a number 1?
You know, they say it's like all downhill after your first love. It's all downhill after the first printing. I don't want a
agree.
second or third printing.
I never
It's
buy.
like-
I never buy
It
them.
sucks. It should cost less. No, it really shouldn't. But like, come on,
Well, it should cost less for you.
everything should cost less for me. Hey, as much as we promote these comic books, literally yes, they should cost less for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Detective Comics 1089. I'm excited to see how Rom and crew wrap that up. Zatanna Bring Down the House number 4.
Ooh, that cover.
Ooh.
I bought this
Mama.
cover because she looked how I felt that day. I am not
Sexy?
Sexy?
no. She looks fed up and tired. I'm not
Oh.
sexy.
I read that one wrong.
She's fed up and tired but sexy. I'm that minus the hotness. I've got Action Comics here. I don't know what number this is. This is 1069. Speaking
Nice.
of sexy.
Nice.
Black Cloak number 8.
Hmm.
Very
Well, I
excited to
got
get
that this
back into
week
that
too, yeah.
world. Kaya 21. I'm still missing issue 20. That's burning my ass. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it.
Oh, is that who's that covered by? Is that that's not Cameron Stewart, is it?
It's Kerschel.
Oh, Carl Kerschel.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
Kershaw.
okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Speaking of sexy, you know I had to get myself Saga number 69.
Hey.
Damn it, I shouldn't have shown that cover. Yeah,
It was
Saga
blurry
69.
enough. It was blurry enough.
Yeah, there wasn't anything on that.
Okay, good. They're doing 69 on the cover.
That's not what that looks like, Sean.
They're sleeping. They're taking a nap.
You,
They're just
you didn't get anything on it, so don't worry.
Namor number 3.
Hey, have you been liking it?
Okay.
I don't know. Amazing Spider-Man number 58. See, I didn't want this cover. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but the cover A for this issue is dynamite.
Standard.
Was the
standard
Godzilla
Spider-Man
cover available?
It was, but I don't like covers like
Mm.
that. I don't like
Gimmicky
non,
covers. Yeah, I feel you.
yeah. Nyx number 3.
Oh, that's a cool cover.
Yeah. I got a compliment on this cover from the guy that rang me up at the LCS.
He said, "Oh, you did a
Nice.
good job drawing this one." Like, what do you mean compliment? Like, love your work on this.
He was like, "Oh, that's an awesome cover, dude." And I was like, "Yeah." And then he
Hell yeah.
proceeded to pitch me his idea for
No.
Uh-oh.
I'm not joking.
I was gonna say, Sean was like, "Yeah, thanks. Now stop talking."
He pitched me an idea for how DC was building a Justice League Dark horror black label universe via Zatanna and Constantine and Boy Wonder.
And you were like,
What?
"Yo, just put the comics in the bag, bro."
Yo, word.
I was like, yeah, that sounds great, man. You know, DC should hit you up for that. Like, whatever it's going to take, whatever I have to say to get the fuck out of here is what I'm going to say.
And,
So-
and he's still holding that last book to check, so he like hasn't scanned it yet, and you're just kind of sitting there like, how much was that, bro? How much of it? Oh,
The last thing he said to me was, man, I just talked myself into something really cool. And I was like, yeah, you got it, bro. Whatever you say.
yo, he hyped himself up.
Crazy.
Damn, I gotta
Crazy.
write this down. Do you mind if I do it on the back of your book?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Mind you, there's no chance of that happening. But anyway, X-Force number 3. Phoenix number 3. The moon is following us. Number 1.
Oh, about to say, wait a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is cover A.
Cover A, yeah.
So what that means to me is they probably had it last week and I just missed it because, my friend was,
That's right. It's a rough week last
white
week.
splaining. The Manchurian number 1.
Ooh,
That's,
who's that by?
Pinochet, right?
Yeah. And the
Oh.
Dodsons.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. This is the first
Yeah.
page.
Hell yeah.
Who draws bodies like the Dodsons? Come on now. Red Sonja number 14. Speaking of body,
you
Yeah.
got
Whoever
the- you
does
got-
that book.
You got the Gooner
Yeah,
variant.
that cover.
jeez.
Some kind of Italian artist.
inevitably. The interior artist is Walter Giovanni. So
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the stack.
Marco, double check me here. I got 21.
Holy shit!
Oh, I saw you grab your pad and paper. I didn't know. I thought you were keeping track.
I think I missed one. That checks out. I have
21.
4 boxes. Yeah,
Oh
4
my
boxes.
God.
Yeah.
What happened this
Ooh.
week?
I was gonna say,
don't
you
know.
seem like you're reverting, Sean. Like picking up Namor, and you're like, oh, didn't read it? And these are new series.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, those numbers were low. You know what? I think it's Marek Squirrel, 20.
With 20. Yep.
Yo. Ugh. Not a good week. You want to talk about retail therapy? I said, let me buy
Everything.
Namor.
Give me the store.
Word.
I'm buying everything right now. Shit, man. Well,
Might
what are
as
you
well.
going to do?
We're not
Might
even
as
at
well-
all in yet.
Yeah.
No. The culling is coming.
The
We'll
color
see.
Have
happens.
to.
That book already came out. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It's coming back.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
So he's just saying
The
one more
culling is
book
coming.
he's gonna be picking up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He said that's the next book he's gonna pick up and add to the stack.
Yeah, but okay. But let's be honest, guys. What should I have not bought this?
The ones you're not reading. No more
But
He's going to.
biker
but
biker
that's not-
mice.
That's not a. What does that mean? I'm gonna read it eventually, right?
What? So okay, let's just say history is what we have to work on here. You'll get to know more when by 20.
Yeah, but to that, what
27?
did you just pick up that we just talked about?
Ultimate X-Men.
Was it Ultimate X-Men?
Yeah.
You haven't gotten to it yet. It's on your pull list, but you read alphabetically. How long is it going to take you to get to that?
Oh, I'm pretty caught up, so probably next week or two.
Whoa. Yo, Philosopher King just gave me a project. He knows I love numbers
Whoa.
too.
He said, you need to make a week-to-week plot graph of Sean's pile presented at the end of the year. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Whoa.
That sounds like fun.
If you start it all in, I think that might be a good spot to start next week.
No way. You got to start at the
I gotta work.
beginning.
Yeah, I gotta work my way back.
Oh, all right,
Yep.
that's fine. Okay.
Because it only started this year, right?
The
You don't
stack
have to
gimmick,
go-
yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to go back
Whoa,
that far.
gimmick ritual.
Fair.
Segment. Come on.
Segment, yeah.
That's what it is.
Marowak Escuro says, did you drop X-Force? No, it's in my pile.
Yeah, it was there.
Who won, by the way?
Marowak.
Marowak.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, you can have
Yeah,
I've got
X-Force.
X-Force, Phoenix, Nyx, Amazing Spider-Man, Namor, Wolverine Revenge, and Uncanny X-Men are all up for grabs. And by the way, that's so many books. Anybody who wants one of those, just reach out. We'll make it happen. It's no big deal. This is a game, but I want everybody to win. So you can reach out to me on Discord, on X, whatever. Just hit me up. Hit my line.
Marowak gets first dibs, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Atomic Hound said I hate bought Harley Quinn this week. It's getting a new creative
Come
team.
on.
Oh, is it really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
stuff
in.
we talked about on the show.
I think Marco does the show and then deletes the files.
Oh yeah. It's like how
Purge,
I edit the
purge.
podcast. Yeah.
Nuts. All right. It's been real. It's been fun. I don't know if it's been real fun. No, it's been pretty fun. Thank you guys for hanging out. We will be live again on this Saturday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking the New 52, the final installment of our New 52 deep dive, which is going to feature comments from Jeff Johns. Not original comments. I didn't reach out to him for comment, but I have comments from him. I've got comments from Dan Didio. We're going to talk Convergence, everybody's favorite DC event. Convergence is going to be a subject as we wrap things up in that space and make space for DC's Absolute and everything that's going on with that. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Be subscribed if you're not. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Until next time, take care, guys.
See you next week.